So, the movie starts with two guys named David and Peter. Right now, they're in a cottage house because together they've kidnapped a girl named Tracey. Tracey is the daughter of a big-time criminal, and they're planning to get a huge ransom in exchange for her. They've knocked Tracey unconscious and carry her inside the cottage. While taking her upstairs to a room, David realizes he doesn't have the key, so he goes downstairs to get it. Meanwhile, Peter is holding on to Tracey. But during this time, Tracey wakes up from unconsciousness and starts attacking Peter with her head. From the blows, Peter's nose gets broken. Anyway, both of them then call Tracey's father and tell him that they've kidnapped his daughter and demand a ransom of $0. On the other side, Andrew, who is Tracey's stepbrother, takes money from his stepdad and heads out to rescue Tracey. While Andrew is on his way, a car begins following him. Andrew soon reaches the cottage and, once inside, hands over the bag of money to David and Peter. Here we see all three of them are actually quite happy. Turns out, Andrew was also part of their plan. They just wanted to kidnap Tracey and get money out of it. But when David opens the bag, he finds there's no money inside, only scraps of tissue paper. David has no idea why Tracey's father pulled this kind of trick. Actually, Tracey's father had figured out something was off, which is why he sent his men to follow Andrew. After this, Peter steps outside to call his wife. Meanwhile, the gag falls off Tracey's mouth, and when she starts screaming, Peter gets startled and drops his phone into the water. David and Andrew then rush toward Tracey. Andrew hadn't put his mask on properly, so Tracey recognized him. After that, David tries to call Tracey's father, but his phone had gotten wet and was no longer working. David is furious because nothing is going according to the plan he had made. So, he heads to a nearby village to use a telephone booth. Meanwhile, in the car, we see the two guys who had been following Andrew. They've kept someone captive with them. David quickly reaches the village and uses the phone to demand money. But as he steps out of the booth, some villagers show up, staring at him. One of them warns David that the cottage he's staying in is very dangerous. He tells him not to leave or something terrible will happen. David finds this really strange and hurries back. When he gets to the cottage, he sees that Andrew has been attacked. He goes upstairs and realizes Tracey isn't there, and Peter is missing too. David storms up to Andrew, threatening him and demanding to know what happened. Andrew explains that Tracey suddenly needed to use the bathroom. They both took her there, and after she was done, she asked for toilet paper. To give it to her, they had to untie her hands. Then she attacked him and escaped, taking Peter with her. David can't believe how stupid they both were. Meanwhile, the injured guy shows up, the same one who had been held captive in the car by those two men. Andrew recognizes him right away and says, "That's my barber." Andrew had already told him about the kidnapping, and through him, the others found out too. But during this moment, the man's intestines spill out, and he dies. So the question remains, who was dangerous enough to kill him? On the other side, we see Tracey holding Peter at knife point, forcing him to go with her. As they move through the woods, they end up on private property with a sign that says, "No trespassing." But Tracey needed help, so they went inside anyway. Along the way, Peter's wallet falls to the ground. Meanwhile, David and Andrew also head into the woods to search for Peter and Tracey. But a little further in, they come across the man from the car, dead. Tracey and Peter continue toward a house. When they go inside, they call out for help, but no one answers. They start looking around for the owner, or maybe even a phone. Inside, they find some really strange things. Peter grabs a bag of frozen peas to press against his wound, and while doing that, he notices a hidden basement. Strange noises were coming from it. He calls Tracey over, and when she opens the basement door, she finds nothing there. But then, Tracey spots severed hands inside a freezer. Before she can even react, someone stabs her from behind. Out of the basement comes a terrifying killer whose face is completely disfigured. Peter is horrified and immediately bolts. He rushes upstairs and leaps out of a window to escape. As he runs, Tracey suddenly stumbles outside, begging him for help. Peter, even though he didn't want to, tries to save her. But the killer had also arrived, and Peter runs away, leaving her behind. Just as the killer is about to kill Tracey, Peter saves her with a shovel. Tracey tells him that they need to kill him quickly, but for Peter, this is really difficult since he's never done anything like this before. While they're discussing, the killer regains consciousness and bites off half of Peter's foot. He then attacks Tracey, and with that same shovel, he slices off half of her head. Peter screams in horror when he sees this, and the killer knocks him out with the shovel. After that, the killer drags both of them away from the spot. Meanwhile, Andrew and David have also arrived. David finds Peter's wallet, which tells them Peter is here. On the way, Andrew's leg gets caught in a trap, injuring him, but somehow the two manage to move forward. Not far ahead, David finds Peter's torn shoe, with Peter's foot still inside. Shocked, David realizes something terrible is happening here. David goes inside the house to look for Peter, while Andrew stays outside. Inside, David finds some strange things, including a news clipping about a man. Then he stumbles upon Tracey's severed face. Andrew comes in and turns on the lights, revealing shelves full of human skulls. As they're staring at them, the killer suddenly appears and attacks David. David runs outside in panic, but the killer strikes David's leg with a pickaxe. In all this chaos, Andrew tries to escape. While running, he calls his dad, telling him that a farmer is chasing him to kill him. He also says that Tracey has been killed. Just then, the killer arrives and slices Andrew right down the middle. David, in pain, calls out to Peter, who is hanging on a hook. Peter struggles to free himself from the hook and eventually comes to David, pulling the pickaxe out of his leg. Both of them are badly injured, and they realize that they're not going to survive. But David says he doesn't want to die yet, and he's going to face the killer. Meanwhile, the killer rips Andrew's head, along with his spine, out of his body and starts heading toward them. David and Peter go inside the house, searching for something they could use to fight back. The killer shows up, throwing Andrew's severed head at them through the window. He then enters the house, and David tries to fight him off. But the killer is way too powerful and ends up killing David as well. Enraged, Peter loops a rope around the killer's neck, trying to strangle him. During the struggle, Peter falls into the basement, but he still holds onto the rope. He keeps pulling, causing the killer outside to thrash in pain until he finally goes still. Peter thinks maybe the killer is dead. He then lights his lighter and ventures deeper into the basement, only to discover a group of cannibal women. Peter is now trapped among them. In the post-credit scene, we see Tracey's dad and his men arrive at the place. But from inside, the killer emerges once again, pickaxe in hand. And that's where the movie ends. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Also, subscribe to this channel for more stories like this.